But I wanted to talk to you about Riesling.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder, what is Riesling's problem? As you said, Riesling can sometimes be robust, but it has this really high acidity. So how do you balance that?
It's ripeness in the vineyard. Everything is in the vineyard.
Because your wines are amazing, like the quality is top, but I don't see the VDP membership on. Are you a VDP member?
No.
No,
This is not a question for us.
No. Are you? So you never plan?
No. We want to be easy in winemaking because this is the most important thing, and I want to be free to make the wine like I want to drink it. Sometimes we call it VDP, very difficult people.
Okay. I've met some of those people.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. This is Agnes from No Sediment, and welcome to No Sediment Wine Podcast. Today, my guest is Sybille Kuntz, a head winemaker and owner of Sybille Kuntz Estate in Mosel Valley.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, how are you?
Very good.
Very good. So maybe before we start to talk about Riesling and Mosel and wines in general, could you maybe talk about your wine journey, how you started, and the Sybille Kuntz winery, how it was born?
Okay, so this is a long time ago. I took over the first parcels from my parents. They had just 1.5 hectare of Riesling vineyards in 1984, so a long time ago. It was just a few plots. And then I studied business administration. And during this time, I need to have a job and a little bit more money when I was a student. And to finance my studies, I opened a wine shop. And this was very important for me because in addition to the wines from my parents, I learned more about wines from Italy, from France, like Burgundy, and I was fascinated from white Burgundy wines. And then I thought maybe for the Riesling, there must be also more possible than only the white at this time, the light and sweet or semi-dry wines. Yeah, and then I worked also in the cellar, at this time together with my father. I helped him, he helped me. And then, I had more and more my own style in the cellar and in the vineyards also, because it starts in the vineyard. And then I sold the wine shop and focused completely on the vineyards and winemaking.
Okay.
Until now.
Perfect. So you are actually based in one of the most beautiful vineyards in the world, amongst the top, for sure. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And we were just last year there, and the slopes are so steep. How do you manage to work these vineyards? Because I also hear that you are biodynamic.
Yeah.
So what are the biggest challenges in general, and then maybe working biodynamic?
So the biggest problem is the weeds and under the vines. But we have in the meantime machines available. For example, eine Raupe. It's like a small tractor on the winch.
Okay.
And with this machine, so it was a revolution for the Mosel region to manage the steep slopes. And this helps us also to grow. Otherwise, only with handwork we couldn't manage it.
Yeah. So that definitely increases the hours per wine you spend.
Yes. You must know, 100 years ago, everything was biodynamic. So it's for me, it's easy to work biodynamic because it's pure natural work. So we don't need additional preparations in the vineyard. So means no herbicides but that's not new. I'm doing this since 1990.
Wow.
But at this time it was only organic and it was in the same way. And this is not a dogma for us. It's just pure nature what we do, and we follow the rules of the nature, and that's everything what we do.
Okay. There must be a few years that are more challenging than others. I told you I was last year in Mosel, and I was surprised. I think it was the end of August and September, and grapes were still hard, and vineyards just smelled of sulphur. A lot of vineyards. Did you also face similar challenges last year? And there are also some producers who tell me that in challenging years, biodynamic vineyards actually feel better. So have you seen that? Is that true?
For us, we do every year the same procedure. So there is not more in 1 year. So no. So we do the plant protection every week, and so until the grapes are softened.
Yeah.
And if they have 20, 30 Öxle, so the sugar reading, then they are healthy and we don't need to do any more plant protection. So it's not a difference for us. Okay. Last year or the year before.
Was the yield down last year?
Yes, it was very low, but this was because of the frost in April.
Okay.
And this reduces our yields maybe 50%.
Oh, wow.
So, but the grapes we picked later on were very good. So low yield, higher concentration and better quality. So,
okay.
Yeah. So everything has two faces.
Okay, good. So the next question is going to be maybe a bit loud, but I wanted to talk to you about Riesling. And I wonder, what is Riesling's problem? And what I mean by that, we all love Riesling. I think it has been my favorite grape variety for the longest time. And it makes such a diverse styles. And we keep saying that Riesling is going to be the next big thing. And somehow it is still this kind of niche wine loved by wine professionals dearly, but not necessarily loved by like global market like they love Sauvignon Blanc. So where do you see the problem here with Riesling?
I see no problem. For me, it's the most important grape. Since I'm doing the vineyards and since I'm almost born in the vineyards, because this was my kindergarten, and maybe it's the view from the own vintners in their own region. They are, for me, not proud enough of this grape, of this region, because 40, 50 years, the image was very down, and I think people are still working on this image and to come out and forget the bad image. And so for us, for example, we exclusively grow Riesling, no other variety, because this Mosel region is, for me or for us, the best grape what we can plant there, and Riesling is, for me, one of the best in the world, and the region also. So why should we grow another variety there, for example, Sauvignon Blanc or red wine? So for red wine we have so much other good places where where we can do a better red wine easier than in the Mosel steep vineyards. So why should we do it there? For me, it's not stupid, but so I think it's not worth to do it.
Okay. So the next question that I prepared, that with the climate change, do you consider different grapes? You will say no.
No.
Okay.
I think the procedure, how we do it, so we have to prepare the ground during the winter, open it, then we have enough water in spring and hopefully in summer, so and low yield. So there are enough natural ways to handle this global warming.
Yeah, okay.
So we do it already since 25 years.
I actually agree with you. I think that sometimes we just go so quickly. We want like, okay, so Riesling doesn't work, let's look for Pinot Noir or something, you know, like Bordeaux did. But I think for the longest time in Bordeaux, Cabernet couldn't mature, and now it can. So is there necessity to bring other grapes? I'm not sure.
No, not for me.
Yeah.
Because Riesling is so robust, it will hold forever. So, and for us also Spätburgunder, Pinot Noir, it's not a challenge, because what we have in during harvest, the fog in the morning makes soften the skin, and this is very important for us. Then the botrytis can go into the skin, and for Riesling and for the Auslese, Beerenauslese, it is a perfect weather. But for Pinot Noir, it kills the color. So if the grapes are still in the vineyards and not harvested until then. So the weather for us is perfect to do Riesling, and
And that's it.
Yeah, that's it. That's all we need.
Yeah, okay. I want to talk about your wines. So how do you describe your unique style? Because as you said, Riesling can sometimes be robust, but it has this really high acidity. So how do you balance that in your wines?
It's ripeness in the vineyard. Everything is in the vineyard. So if we have healthy, good grapes there, this is 90%, and we bring it without problems into the cellar and press it without problems, what's normally easy, then 90% is in the tank. So this is not a problem for us.
Not a problem. Okay, so you just look for ripeness in grapes, and that creates on its own.
Yeah.
Okay.
And every year we learn from the new challenges, and then it's it's a long life process.
That's true. That's true. So you, if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, so you focus on dry Rieslings. Is that correct?
Yes. Maybe if I can show you this. So we have 6 categories of Riesling. The first dry are trocken, dry. The first 3 are trocken. And then botrytis starts, and the sugar reading is going up.
Yeah.
So, and here, if we would ferment this one, the Auslese dry, it would have 14 volume%. So, and here is a natural cut.
Okay.
So what's possible, we ferment to a drier Riesling, up to also Qualitätswein, Kabinett Spätlese, and this then have 12.5, 13 volume%, and here the grapes are still healthy, so without botrytis. And this is important for us to do a dry Riesling. So, and when the botrytis starts, we pick it out during harvest. Almost every raisin or botrytis grapes. We pick out, we sorted during harvest. In one box, the yellow grapes, and in the other box, these botrytis grapes. And so we make the cut between trocken and not so fine herb, or it's getting sweeter. And then when the botrytis works more, water evaporate, and then we have in the end only the
But this is really unique. So for you, the dry Riesling is without the botrytis.
Yes, and the beginning of harvest, there is no botrytis.
Yes.
And then in the middle of harvest, when botrytis starts, then we separate.
Okay, this is really unique. This is a beautiful way to highlight that. Yeah, it's really easy to understand as well.
And it's easy to do and to explain it to our harvest people.
Okay, so this is nice. And I wanted to ask you, the reason why I asked you about the dry Rieslings first is that now the changing German law, wine law, I think it starts in 2026, if I'm not mistaken. So it will be focused on dry wines, putting the driest wines on top. So erste Lagen, grosses Gewachs. And I'm not sure I agree completely with that, because I think there are some beautiful sweet wines also coming out, and somehow then they are actually below or they are not reserved for a single vineyard. I'm not sure I understand that. So what are your thoughts here on this topic?
For me, it's also difficult. So I cannot understand this wine law. For me, the großes Gewächs is our Spätlese here.
Okay.
This one without botrytis. And this is for us the großes Gewächs from our best vineyards, Niederberg-Helden. And there are the wines up to 100 years old.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of them are own-rooted. And this is for us the best wine, the Spätlese Trocken, großes Gewächs. I don't understand why the großes Gewächs from our colleagues is a Qualitätswein. It's a Qualitätswein. So our entrance wine would be then our großes Gewächs. And this is what I don't understand, why they focus on the Qualitätswein and the großes Gewächs. So for me, a großes Gewächs would be then, it has not to be really dry. So it has to be my best wine.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what I think.
Yeah, for me too. For me too.
Okay, but while we're on the subject about the German wine law, I also wanted to ask you, because your wines are amazing, like the quality is top, but I don't see the VDP membership on. Are you a VDP member?
No.
No.
No, this is not a question for us. No.
Are you? So you never plan?
No. We want to be easy in winemaking, because this is the most important thing. And I want to be free to make the wine like I want to drink it. And no regulations. It has to be sweet, the Spätlese or the Auslese, or so this would minimize my winemaking feeling.
Okay.
So I want to interpretation of Riesling how I like to do it, not the group.
Okay. So I just want to maybe look into the camera and say this. So because me as a sommelier so I always learned and I was taught that, look for the VDP member sign, the eagle on the label. So this is the top quality, but it is a membership, and it does not mean that if you do not have it, that the wines are not at the quality level. Yes. So please remember that it is a choice. It's not that. Yeah, it is a choice. It's not that you.
For me, it's more a marketing club.
Okay.
So they can do marketing together, and so for me it's not to be important to be in the club. So sometimes we call it VDP, very difficult people.
Okay. I've met some of those people. Yeah.
It's mixed.
Yeah, of course. But let's talk about your wines again. So we were looking at the labels and they are very unique. So no chateau on the label, like no estate. It's just like a colored square. Do you have a story behind the labels?
Yeah, we want to make it easy and no grapes, no buildings, no chateau, and just the color of the ripening of the grapes. So you can understand here.
Yeah.
You have seen it. It's very easy to understand if you see the grapes. This is the ripening process, and you can see it then on the label later without knowing what's a Beerenauslese. You can see it on the grapes. Yeah, and then like a picture, the sign under the painting, Sybille Kuntz.
Yes. Yeah, and they're really iconic. They're really iconic, and they look together like really well. So the idea is that the fresher, earlier harvest, so then the lighter the color. Yes? Correct? Like the green?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Good to know. So if you come back to the greatest grape in the world, which is Riesling, so because Riesling can also age beautifully.
Yes.
When Riesling is aging, what do you look like into the older vintages of Riesling? What is your characters that you want to find and seek?
So when I look to our ripe vintages, acidity, sweetness, and alcohol. So also the Auslese and the Beerenauslese in our case. And if all these three are ripening in balance, the wine can be ripened a long time, long years. So, for example, the Beerenauslese can be 50 years old. Or now we have also 1994 Auslese halbtrocken. This is still super good.
And it's trocken.
No, this one is halbtrocken.
Halbtrocken.
So off dry. So this one has a little bit sweetness, and this is very good to give the acidity a little bit more balance.
Yes.
So, and this is for us important. These three things in a perfect harmony, then the wine can age forever.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, that's true. Well, there are some wines that can age longer than I can, for sure. So, yeah. Oh, absolutely. A few more questions left. And before we go towards the end, I wanted to ask you a bit controversial question, which has been interesting to me for a long time. Riesling has the highest, or one of the highest acidities. It usually does not go through mellow. And yet sometimes really young Rieslings can smell a lot of sulphur. So I wonder why it is the tradition to add a lot of SO2 to Rieslings. To a moment, to a point that it almost feels like that is the typicity of it. I just wonder, like with you working Biodynamic, do you add less SO2 usually to the finished wine? Also, you work with the dry wines, I understand that. But do you see that's like an issue in the winemaking community? Is it something that people just like that flinty character sometimes associated already with Riesling?
I think it's depends of the sugar reading, because if you have more residual sugar in the wines, you have to protect it that it not start fermenting in the bottle. So, and if you have a sweet wine, you have to add more a little bit. But in our case, we don't need this much sulfur for the trocken wine, because they have not much residual sugar in the wine. And the sweeter wines, Auslese, Beerenauslese, have also to the residual sugar enough alcohol. So they don't need so much sulfur because the alcohol reduces the risk that it can ferment again. Yeah. So this is also a good point of our way to do it. So so the higher alcohol in the wines, not 8.5 or 7.5, this tastes sometimes very good, but it's not our style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just sometimes wonder that there are even some who open Riesling and then they will shake it just to kind of remove. Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah?
Yes.
Oh.
You're like, this is what you do to get rid of this. Oh no.
Sorry.
This shocked me. Yes. Yes, I'm sorry. I didn't want to shock you, but this was shocking to me as well. I was just visiting other winemaking region with some of the world's top somms, and they would be shaking the wine to get rid of the excess of the SO2. Okay.
Next point.
Next point. Yes, exactly. Okay. Anyway, so one of the last questions I want to ask you is, what is the one wine myth you would like to debunk? The wine world is filled with so many wine myths and semi-truths.
Yeah, not every Riesling has to be sweet.
Of course, this is what you said. Yes, actually, this is so interesting because when I ask this question, a lot of in my podcast, a lot of people come back to Riesling. Because I think this is a grape that has been surrounded by so many kind of, not necessarily lies, but semi-truths and kind of dogma, as you said, around that. But actually, it can offer so much more.
Yeah, Riesling can be dry and light and with alcohol or sweetness and botrytis. So this can be every wine.
Yeah.
So it can
exactly.
There's everything in. Also the different aromas.
So we have a tradition now that the previous guest will leave a wine-related statement, strong statement usually, or a question to the next guest to discuss. So the renowned wine writer Henry Jeffries, so he's based in the United Kingdom. So he said, and I thought this was really unique, he said, amongst alcoholic beverages, wine is not uniquely special. So do you agree or disagree?
For me, it's very special. It's very special. Wine is the only thing that is natural. So you have no other alcohol. So what is from nature? So beer, you have to put some ingredients in together, but wine, it's the only one that it's coming from itself.
That's true. I didn't think about that. Yeah, and whiskey and stuff like that. Of course, there's a lot of culture. But you have to invest.
It's a mixture. Not with wine.
That's true. Wow, I really like that. Thank you. That kind of put a point on top. So, do you have a strong opinion that you would like to, or question that you would like to send to the next guest?
It's to think about what makes Riesling to maybe the best and the most expensive white wine in the world 100 years ago.
Oh, wow. Really good. Yeah, because that's true. 100 years ago, it was amongst the top most expensive wines.
Yeah.
Why? True. Yeah. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Thank you. And as a small thank you for you coming to our wine podcast, maybe the next time you're in the vineyards, you can use this hat.
Yes.
The No Sediment hat.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed our conversation. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.